So, welcome back, everyone, and welcome newcomers as well. I'm so glad you're here, and greetings to everyone who is watching us online. This is the World Conservation Forum. My name is Andrea Jós. I'm a biology teacher and a science communicator, and the host of this stage today. Our next program is going to be super exciting. Well, I am very curious. It's about hunting tourism. And one of our guests is a founder of Book Your Hunt. This is a trusted online marketplace where hunters and professionals can book, can discover and enjoy unique hunting opportunities around the globe. And our other guest, who is going to be the moderator of this interview, is the head of market development, North America, Visit Hungary, which is an affiliate of the Hungarian Tourism Agency. So, please welcome Eszter Alföldi and Alexey Agafonov.
Thank you very much, and have a lovely day, although it's a rainy day. I am Eszter Alföldi from Visit Hungary, which is an affiliate for international relations of the Hungarian Tourism Agency. As our kind moderator invited us, she said that I am responsible for the North American market, and just to explain what is my job, it's very easy. I bring in the American tourists to Hungary. But the method is very interesting because I'm communicating with tour operators, with travel advisors and travel agents, and that's how Alexey can come in because he's selling a product which is a very niche product, but I have looked over a bit and I have found a couple of interesting figures concerning hunting tourism in Hungary, because it brings a huge amount of money, 27.6 billion Hungarian forints, which is in dollars more than $8,600 million per year, which is a great amount. And there are almost 65,000 registered hunters in Hungary, 3,000 professionals, and that means that every 125th Hungarian adult is a hobby or a professional hunter. The age group is between 50 and 60, that's the biggest, but 30 and 40 is also very impressive. There are 4% of women hunters in Hungary, which is a very astonishing number. I would like to ask you about women hunters as well. And the average expenditure in hunting tourism is 20 times bigger than a normal tourist expenditure in Hungary during a visit. And of course, their stay is much longer as a tourism stay in Hungary than an average tourist. So let's start with Alexey, because I didn't leave a space for him yet. So what is your job and what is your business about, and how can we connect to each other through North America?
Yep. Thank you very much. So I'm Alexey Agafonov. I'm founder of the project that is called Book Your Hunt, as you mentioned, and the idea was very simple. I faced personally a big problem being a hunter, not experienced but passionate hunter, to find a place where to hunt. It's a big challenge if you are just new to the market, if you are new to hunting. So it's a big challenge to find a place where to go, and how much should you pay, what should I know. And the first move was just to turn to normal agency. And it was a good experience, but in the end, it turned into overpaying a lot. Let's say, in general, the hunting tourism now, and now a little bit less, but hunting tourism 5 years ago or 3 years ago, it was happened to the normal tourism 25 years ago. A dominant role of agents in the middle, lack of information, not a big chance to find and to compare prices because it's complicated. Like shows like that is the only way to find a good opportunity to hunt in the new destination.
Partners.
Yeah. So And what we offer to the market, so we didn't change anything. We just make it more convenient. So we do not change the way people are buying a hunt or selecting a hunt. We just make it more convenient. So you can you can just come to one place and find whatever you want in the world, and just to understand if you can afford this or not. So this is our job. This is what we are doing.
And your business started out of your hobby or your job. Was it your professional job or was it your hobby?
No, it's not my professional job. So again, as I said, I bumped it into hunting like a business, like from my personal experience. So I was on different executive positions in my life. So I finished some good projects before, and there was a period in my life when I have enough time and money to start hunting. Before that, I was working too much. So, and then I started hunting, and then I realized that there's a niche here because I'm not the only one like that. So, and my idea just turned into something bigger than just a hobby or a toy.
And tell me something how you work. So everyone from all over the world can book a hunting through you, or you have special destinations, territories to deal with. What is your method?
It's a marketplace. At the marketplace, you can come and buy fruits or you can buy hunts. So in the marketplace, there are buyers and sellers. So we're in the middle. We invite all the small operators, all hunting properties with no middleman. So this is the biggest rule we have on the platform. So we connect regular hunters with hunting properties with no middleman. So we give a chance for smaller hunting properties with no marketing budget or with no knowledge to show them and to present them to the market, to millions of hunters. So we have last 12 months, we have about 1.7 million sessions. So it's around 1 million unique visitors. So we have a lot of people interested in hunts. And we offer this huge interest to hunting properties. So we invite them to come, they can register, they can show what they can offer, and they deal directly with hunters. They receive requirements, they receive payments. So it's kind of way of connecting. It is a dream that was always in lots of minds, to connect directly hunters and hunting properties with no middleman.
And you told me you are the biggest player on the market, which is astonishing. What does that mean in figures?
We started in 2015 with only 3 properties and 10 hunts. So now we have more than 5,000 hunts available, more than 1,500 hunting properties in 56 countries. So we are the biggest player on the market now. So basically we're the only one.
And your most important market is my most important market at the moment, which is North America, US, and Canada. That's my territory, from where I have to bring in not only hunters, but normal tourists to Europe. How does it look like, the North American market for you?
Well, again, we started as soon as I live in Austria. So we started like a European company, but we discovered that the biggest market and the biggest opportunity is over the pond, so on the other side of the ocean. So the biggest difference is, first of all, is size.
Yeah.
It's a huge country, 11 million registered hunters just in one country, and what is important, speaking one language. So that is different in Europe. So in Europe, you have lots of hunters. So 7 million is official number, but all of them speak in different languages, and they historically travel within their own countries or countries connected to each other historically. So in US, it's a huge market. People much more open for online businesses. So, and it historically developed much faster. The project developed itself much faster in US. So it's 70% of our market now.
And what is the perception of hunting tourism in the US? And is it different from the perception of hunting tourism in the EU?
I would say the type of the client that you are interested in are basically the same, because it requires not only interest in hunting, but also it requires to have quite a good pocket to fly to Europe, to pay all the flights, to book a hunt, to book a hotel. So as you said, it's very important to understand that the hunting tourists spend much more money than spend the regular tourists that are coming like on the budget airlines, coming to the budget hotel just to have the experience of going around. So hunting tourists mostly, especially overseas tourists, is the person who have I would estimate like 5 times more spendings than the regular budget tourists. And that's why they're very valuable. And that's why hunting tourists from Western community is so valuable in Africa, for example. I would not speak on behalf of Africa because there are so many reputable people here, and Danen will be here after this conversation. But in general, everybody will say you're the same. It's the hunting tourist who brings money that allow to operate all the conservation programs. It's important for Africa especially. It's less important for Europe because here the conservation program is more established. But for the economy itself, tourism is something that will drive GDP up for sure.
And what is the most favorable destination or the most popular destination for your clients? Africa still, or?
No. Again, the influence of this trend is even higher now. I mean, the influence of COVID and all these stories that happened last 2 years, 1 year and a half. So most of the hunting tourists are hunting within their region. Like in the United States, for example, 87% of hunters never ever hunt outside their own state. Mm-hmm. Only 7% of hunters in the US are traveling outside their state and traveling abroad. So it's a small amount, but because the market is huge, so these people are known and you can see them all over the world. So basically, hunting tourism is focused locally. I will surprise you, but in Africa, for example, the local market is 6 to 8, 7 times bigger than all international clients coming and bringing their money. So wow. It's even in Africa. So in Europe, it's the same. But again, it's important to understand that within hunting, like an attraction, you bring not only a hunter, you bring his family, you bring his kids, you bring potentially friends who can bring more money. So it's a kind of multiplication that you have with each hunter that you attract from abroad.
You told something about the pandemic period. How did that affect your company and your business and the whole hunting tourism? Because, you know, there is a post-COVID trend that let's go out to nature, let's be separate from the crowd. And hunting is a perfect hobby for that because you are alone in a forest. So I presume that domestic travel wasn't that much affected by this in hunting tourism than international.
Yes and no. So even if you want to go hunt or fish, you cannot afford those because the borders are closed. You just cannot travel. I can confirm your words that it's a huge potential for the hunting industry and basically for the outdoor industry, because now the trend, after the COVID situation, people want to escape from the cities. And we see this in US, for example, and I can give you 2 samples. So first of all, if you check the prices of the houses outside the cities, they're going up in US, and yes. People just escaping, they're going out. Second sample is, if you check sales of boats, they're going to the sky right now. So people are trying to escape. They're buying boats, they're buying houses, they want to go to the water, they want to go to the forest. It's the trend, they want to go out. The limit here is the restrictions and travel restrictions, first of all. So what we saw in the pandemic, so first of all, people were still interested in hunts. And we have very, very low level of cancellations of hunts because people still want to go. They postpone the hunt, they don't cancel it.
That's good.
It's a great sign because we are talking about the market that is very passionate and people who loves that. The negative thing is, and we cannot say that pandemic did not influence because lots of operators went out of the business and go close to the situation of bankruptcy because they cannot support, because they have maintaining costs that are going every year. And I know exactly that in Hungary it was a big problem because lots of hunts were canceled because like Austrian or German or other European countries could not enter, last season especially. Like spring season was lost, most of the fall season was lost, and it was a tough life. So those who can manage that and restructure them, potentially they have a huge potential for development in future because people still want to go there. You cannot get rid of your passion. It's within you. But of course, restrictions and governmental regulations that put lots of damage on the whole industry.
If you turn to Hungary, my next question would be about Hungarian tourism market, hunting tourism market. What are we, as an expert, what do we have and what do we don't have for a more successful selling? We have games, that's true.
Yeah. So Hungary is one of the, I would say, destinations that is well known everywhere. The tradition in hunting, the quality game management is something Hungary is well known for. So you have a great product. The question, is it easy to sell this product to other people or not? So the step from having a product to getting a client, it's a kind of tricky stuff. If you have an Apple or iPhone, but you do not have distribution and you don't have this marketing that is done on the perfect level, so it doesn't work. So
we lack of marketing.
Yeah, so the biggest challenge and the biggest thing what I see personally and what we discussed this in the company, by the way, and let's say traditional hunting market in Hungary does not orientate it really on the new customers. So
only the old ones.
The old ones, and they do not orientate just, let's look at the price structure. If you go hunting to Hungary, if you go hunting in States, there is a fixed price. You go for the elk hunt, you pay like say $7,000 US and that's it. The biggest problem in Hungary, if you go to the hunt, after the hunt, till 2 weeks, you don't know the final price. Because the product in Hungary is sold separately.
So it's not regulated properly?
Traditionally, it's structured differently. You have to pay separately for accommodation. You have to pay separately for the guidance. Let's say, guiding fee. Sometimes they're united with a trophy fee. And the trophy fees are very complicated. So if you shoot a stag, you have a very complicated price structure that way you have to pay for the grams. And that's why you don't know the price until the antlers are ready. And on the top of that, you have to pay, in many properties, you have to pay separately for the kilometers that you use traveling on the car.
Oh, yeah.
You need to pay for just each glasses of water or bottle of water. So that's something that is not client-orientated, really. And people now, it's not about making less money. It's more about making it more convenient. In the end, if you make a certain package and you include all your costs without losing your money and say the final price upfront to the client, that gives much better feeling. Because I've seen and I've heard so many stories of the clients who had a great hunt, amazing hunt in Hungary. But when they're coming to the end of the hunt, they're going like this.
Yeah.
And they say, what is the problem? Okay, now we're coming to the most painful situation. We don't know how much we will pay for that. And then surprises coming up. And that ruins and spoils emotional addictiveness to that.
So we should put together or build up the product more cautiously, properly, and within a better circumstance.
Yeah, so first I would simplify the price structure, like the first step. Try to do it, it's not possible to do quickly because it's changing the behavior, it's changing the habit. But this is the big step towards the client. If clients see that you like him, if you make life easier for the client, he appreciates that. And the second thing is, of course, the marketing itself and making a step forward towards, again, towards client, not only price-wise. So for now, the current situation in many Hungarian properties, great managed. Don't get me wrong. I love Hungary personally. I was hunting a lot here and I would like to continue doing that. But here the service starts at the moment you enter the property. So most of the properties, they say, okay, guys, you just come to us to this point, and there is a lack of, let's say, final mile. So who can help client to meet him in the airport, just to bring him to the property? So to make
helping you with information about your territory, what to hunt in this season and where, and what is the abundance of games. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
So it's about more focus oriented on sales. So you have a great specialist in game management, in sales, and it is providing extra small piece of service that would add a lot of added value. Because put yourself on the position of the foreigner or American who is coming here. He get used to pay fixed amount, and he's coming to a foreign country where nobody speaks English, mostly, because, again, most of the properties speak German, historically more orientated on Austria and Germany.
Yes.
And if you're talking about American clients, how to make life easier for them. Just imagine American coming and then he see this price list, like, and said, what is this? Like this accommodation, okay, this is what is that?
But
and he'll say,
that is true not only
gone.
on this part of tourism, but other service providers. We have some a problem, and we are a bit behind this knowledge of languages. That's really true. But if you come to Hungary, to a certain product, what is important for a hunter? The accommodation, should it be a 5-star hotel? Should it have good kitchen? And should it have big comfort? Or not that one, but you would choose an accommodation with less comfort, but more games. So what are hunters look for in tourism? In tourism services, I mean.
Again, it's a complicated question. So, and I would say that let's focus on the part of this question that could be more interesting to you. Let's focus like on the U.S. hunters, international hunters coming to Hungary. And from their perception, from this position, I would say it's more important to have a complex product. Again, you have everything to attract international clients because you have not only great game management, you have also historically, like, look at Budapest. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah. Is it important for a hunter where to go? Is there a pre or post stay before hunting?
Again, you travel minimum 12 hours. You spend lots of money buying the flights, insurance, buying a hunt. Of course, they want to get maximum out of that. And the normal tourist program is a very important part. You can go, I don't know, in the middle of nowhere, and then coming back flying through Budapest, you can have absolutely different feeling after this experience. And lots of hunters are traveling with families, so it's important to have a program for ladies.
Have programs for the kids, yeah.
And for kids and for ladies. So you mentioned this, that there are lots of ladies hunters, and I would just want to comment that it's the fastest growing share of the market, ladies hunters. And this is something where we should look for.
How fast is it growing? So when did ladies come in? Okay, it has historical roots because we know about Queen Elizabeth as a hunter, for example, and the British royal family in general. Of course, it's very chic, it's very posh, but how did normal ladies after their 30s, 40s, or when the kids fly over the nest, so when they start hunting, and how they can be attracted to this field?
Okay, it's not for everyone. Let's be honest. So talking about hunting, we should understand one very important thing. Hunters, we are minority. And it did not happen now. So let's say the average numbers of registered hunters in each country, it's between 0.5% up to 2 or 3%, no more. So we are minority. So we should understand that. Hunting is not for everyone. And the same situation was centuries before, like let's say 100,000 years ago in the tribes, in prehistorical times, not everyone was hunting. You should understand that. So they were like 10, 15% really hunters. All the others were taking care about the tribe and whatever. So this is the first thing. So it's not for everyone. But ladies who are interested in that and who show the interest to that, sometimes they show more passion about hunting, and they are brought usually through the family, of course. Either husband or father is hunting. It's this initiation process and a very important part of the whole of the whole hunting world. How do you find out your way to hunting? For ladies, mostly it's a husband or a father. So men are bringing it, or maybe a friend who advised to go, because hunting is a more individual type of activity. So it's not a group hunt. So usually it's something you and the wild. But somebody needs to take you with a hand and bring it to the wild. So basically this, I would say, the answer.
Would you mind if I asked a very personal question? Because I have read in your profile that you have 4 kids. What is their feeling about your hunting experience first and your business?
Well, my kids, they love hunting. So I used to take kids with me when they were just very small. And
And of course your wife.
My wife, by the way, she's not a hunter. She does not appreciate it too much, but she can shoot like a hell, you know. So she's a great shooter. So, and by the way, this is another part. So, if a lady starts hunting, in most of the cases, they're better shooters and better hunters than men.
Oh wow! I didn't know that. Why?
I think because, again, if it is their decision, they're much more in control and they're less nervous in the critical moments. So we are, as men, get so much excited that when you're pulling the trigger.
And maybe they concentrate on the small details
so
better.
I cannot give you a scientific answer that here. So I can just share all the information that I heard from professional hunters, from my friends, and from those people who were over there. So I've heard a lot that if ladies taking a gun, so they're hell of a shooters. So they're great shooters.
That's great. And now, after the pandemic period, what do you think will change on this market? Will it be more popular? Is it before a better growing? Or will it go back and drop a bit? What is your feeling, your prediction about the future?
I think that there is a huge potential in growth of this market, the outdoor industry, just because people want to escape from cities. They feel threatened by the cities. They don't want to be in big communities anymore, just because they have scare. And they want to go outside, and they want to go outdoors. Whatever it is, fishing, hunting, biking, I don't know, hiking. And there is a potential to convert this trend into something bigger. I think that it will be more complicated to come back to international travels because it still requires lots of regulations. Like, for example, even now, Canada is open for US hunters. But it's open only this summer, but it's open for those who are vaccinated. And not everyone wants to go through vaccination. So it's a limit. So, and again, lots of hunts are postponed from this fall and from this spring to the next year because people are expecting the regulations going down. So international travels will be challenging. And I think that the potential that is in this market will be converted into internal markets.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important. This is a sustainable way, I would say, for the hunting industry to operate. And I strongly believe that if to use this momentum properly, that's a great opportunity for the hunting market to develop.
I ask this because you can track it down precisely on your homepage, because you can watch the bookings, you can watch the sellings. Have you seen the movement upwards in the last couple of months?
Sure. And we see...
in how extent?
Yeah. No, so for us, basically, I can't complain. For us, the pandemic time was quite okay. So in general, the whole tourism went down 50%. We managed even to grow up during this period. Not the big numbers, but we managed to grow up.
That's nice.
Yeah, so now we're catching up, and now we have like growth of like 70% plus for the previous year. And this is the best sign that market is recovering. And not recovering only internally in different regions, but also recovering internationally. Not with the speed that we expect and we would like to see. But again, hunting is about passion. You cannot take a passion easily from a person. You cannot forget that I like hunting, just you cannot do this like that. So it's somewhere inside, and there will be potential, and people still would like to think and to dream about that.
Okay, and while we are closing to the end of this discussion, I would like to pose some personal questions, maybe. What is your next hunting destination? Do you have time for hunting? And what are you looking for? And what was your main success?
I would like to hunt more. I don't have enough time for that, this is for sure. But I'm waiting for some great experience in front of me, so I'm planning to fly to Kamchatka in the end of the next month. So
wow.
Yeah, so this is something special. Yeah, and then we see.
What are there in Kamchatka? Just give me a clue.
Kamchatka is famous for 3 main species. Kamchatka moose, they're huge. Kamchatka bear, they're huge. And there is a sheep, special type of sheep that is only in Kamchatka. There are 3 types of sheep that you can hunt in that area.
And how do you handle the possible attacks from national environmental protectors or those who regard this hobby and sport as something not very essential?
Well, again, it is we have what we have. So there will be always fear. So all these people, they're driven by 2 things: by the fear of death and by the feeling of injustice. And they think that they're trying to fight their own fears. And when they see that the death is happening in life, so if they stop hunting, they stop the death. So it's not realistic. So it's difficult to talk with these people because they're talking about emotions, and you cannot talk with people with emotions, or so you cannot talk with people with logic who are emotional. So you have to put another emotion in front of them, so otherwise they will not listen to you. Science shows that hunting is the only way to keep the wildlife sustainable. As I mentioned before, it's only hunting that provides funding in needed numbers to provide the conservation products and just to fund the conservation products. So we will never get rid of that. We just need to get used to that. And we should understand that we are a minority and we have to fight for our rights. That's it.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid our time is up, but it has been a lovely conversation with you. And I hope we could really discuss about a bit of everything, and I would like to just marketing your company once again. So it's Book Your Hunt, and it's
we have also Bait Your Hook. So we have 2 marketplaces now. We launched another marketplace in fishing.
So whoever is interested in hunting tourism, please find his homepage and Alexei himself, and welcome in Hungary for a nice hunt.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.